how are you, my friend?
Hey, how are you? 118.
118, the Rocky Files. Link is in our bio, as I like to say. 7 o'clock, Thursday nights. Here we are.
Here we are.
Again. You know, we had a rainy week here last week.
Yes, we did.
I think your part of the country got socked.
Yeah, we did. We weren't in the regions, but there are regions of Tennessee that it's really bad. It's sad. Yeah.
How far away are you guys from Asheville?
Asheville. That's very east of us.
Is it? Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Very east.
Gotcha.
Like hours east.
Yeah.
If I'm thinking correctly. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know North Carolina got it. And
they got just
terrible.
Brutal. And so seeing all of this, you know, we went down to the shore for a few days and we were just kind of hanging out. Of course, it was cloudy and rainy all week, but what could you do? You make the most of it. So we got home. I went to the mailbox to get the mail that accumulated over, the 2 or 3 days we were gone. And of course, it was a little damp and wet and moist. No problem. You lay it on the counter and it dries. Well, I didn't look to see what was in the mail, like in the envelopes. Gotcha. So the next morning I come out and I see, we have a presidential election coming up and our ballots are in.
Okay. Yes.
And so I go to open it. Okay, I'll fill it out and I'll get it sent in. And when I open it, I notice the envelopes that you have to send back in were wet. And so the glue sealed itself inside the 2 envelopes that you have to put the ballot in and then the ballot in the envelope. And so I'm like, this is going to be horrible. Do I rip it up? What do I do? So yesterday, they don't open until Monday. So I call them up. I said, hey, I got this problem with my ballots. And the guy stops me and he goes, let me guess. They were moist and it activated the glue. I said, yes. Yeah. And he goes, it happened to about 10,000 people. He goes, we are aware. He goes, just maybe get a razor blade or a letter opener, slice it open, put the stuff in, tape it shut, no problem. I said, okay. Well, I thought that was very funny because it did kind of panic there a little bit because, you want everything to be as accurate as possible. So I thought that was kind of a funny little freak out at the time.
Yes. Well, for everyone in and around Philadelphia who got rained on, that's how you handle your ballot. Everybody
in Montgomery County. So check the mail or have someone check it if you go on vacation. That is for sure. Hey, who was our guest? Our guest from episode 18. Who was that?
Yes, let me pull up his picture here. This is Joe Oropeza, who's just been wonderful to us all along. I remember just loving so much. A part of his story is the Rocky Dad thing that he does. He definitely weaves that Rocky philosophy into the upbringing of his kids, and his son had lots of fun. He dresses up his son, and he's posted a lot of cute pictures of his Nate. Yes. Anyone who has not seen episode 18, rewind. He's a sweetheart of a guy and has that, Rocky heart like so many of our guests, all of our guests do. And then 2018. Go ahead, my dear. Yeah.
So there was I don't know how you would call this. A sequel to a sequel?
Yeah.
To a sequel? Yeah. I don't know.
Sure.
Anyways, the word I don't like to say, the C word.
The C word.
You could say it. There it is. I'm not saying that C word. But it is the second. And of course, although I may have my issues with the leading star of that movie, I will tell you this is another one of Sly's brilliant performances.
So good. Mm-hmm.
So good. And to see the Dragos come back, I thought that was brilliant. And of course, what is a movie without a good villain? And there you go. You got Victor Drago, who really isn't a villain. He's more of a guy who's being manipulated, and he's kind of trying to win back the love of his father and get his father's approval, which is something I think a lot of sons and daughters can identify with. And it's almost I almost think that movie, it was the sins of the father type of deal.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. And when Drago shows up at the restaurant, I'm telling you, I don't mind telling you, I was there for 2.5 days watching him film this, and it was brilliant.
Awesome, yeah.
Just watching Drago and Sly go through their paces. I mean, it's a beautiful thing. So Sly's great in it. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, no, and it's good. I mean, he's he's the best part of the movie as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I know. Me too.
You know, I enjoy watching him. Yeah, what a cool thing to have witnessed, Mike, to be right there when it was happening. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. My jaw was open the whole time. It's like,
right. So we wrapped up Artist Month last month. It is October now. Happy October to everybody. The month of the pumpkin. And we got a few surprises. And Matt Beier from a couple episodes back sent sketches to us, and I just wanted to start with this one.
Look at that.
And just a big thank you. What an important moment for Mike, and to have that sketched out is just so awesome. And then he did this of me and my mother, which was
beautiful.
I was stunned when I received it. I've never had anybody draw anything of me. So I was like, what?
That's an honor. It really is an honor when you get someone who takes their time to create something from nothing. That was a blank page. And they put their heart and time into it and skill. And it's a gift. It's a gift. Yeah. So thank you.
Thank you to Matt. And then this gentleman here, his name is George Paraschiv. I apologize for probably massacring that last name, George, but he sends me this. I was like, what? So all this came within 3 days from these two artists. And I'm just
People
so
love
grateful. It was so sweet.
They love you. They love the podcast. Come on. This is incredible.
I was really speechless. So George, thank you very much for that. That's going to be very special to me, and just a great way to wrap up our Artist Month of September. All right, what do we have next here? You got something cool. Yes.
Yeah, I did. So about a year ago, there was a Rocky Loan Shark action figure on the Sly Stallone Shop. And this is something, Sly had come up with a long time ago, and he put together a team of people to work on this a little bit, and it really came out well. And they finally got delivered last night. There was some kind of a hiccup along the way, and it took a year plus to get here. But there you go. You can see it's right behind my left shoulder. And I just took a little picture so you could get a little better look at it here. It's one of the best representations of the character. There's only one other statue figure out there that I feel is worthy of my money. And that's the thing. I'll just take a moment on this. I know a lot of collectors. I used to give collectors a hard time. Why would you waste your money on some of the worst crap? And they're really proud of it. Like some of these guys and girls, they buy these statues of Sly that look nothing like him. The only reason it has red, white, and blue shorts and boxing gloves on.
Right.
Why would you waste your hard-earned money on that? And then I had a conversation with another person who was a collector, and he said, that's all in the eye of the beholder. You don't think it's good, but this person does. I'm like, yeah, but it doesn't even look like Sly. And they go, well, we're collectors. They go, all right. Hey, it's your money. You worked hard for it. So have at it and enjoy it. So that life lesson learned right there. And now when I see things online, I go, oh, nice. Great. I don't get in trouble. Looks great. Looks great.
You're going to kick that filter in sometime.
That's it. And as we both know, and anyone that knows me for 12 minutes knows my filter is pretty much broken or has giant gaps in it.
Well, hey, you're pretty crystal clear, darling. That's for sure.
That's one way of saying it.
Right.
Stace, what else do we have going on in the Rocky bubble this week?
So a big, huge, massive shout out to Roz, our runner out there in Berlin, Germany, who finished that race. And I want to send everyone back to her Instagram. That little video that you put up. Can I just say the effort and the pain that you went through to finish it? I know you were hurting, and she did so well. From mile 13, she said, and that's half, and you have the other half to go, and your hip is acting up and your knee's acting up, I think she said. But you did it, and we're just so proud of you. This is your second marathon, and here's a few pictures. Just So proud of you, Mike.
And her husband was very,
Yes.
very instrumental. Taking a bike, catching up, taking the subway to meet her at key points to cheer her on. I mean, I have to tell you, that's pretty impressive.
That's some love and dedication. Very Rocky Adrian sort of support going on there for the both of you. So
it's a team effort in just about every aspect in life. It really is.
True.
It really is. Hey, I forgot to mention Tulsa King. Did you see the latest episode?
I did. Tulsa King 3. This one, I don't know, just turned up a notch because in the reviews on 3 is really, really good. What did you love? I loved the whole courtroom scene. That was just epic. But what did you like?
The courtroom scene was great. I love the Goodfella scene in back of the bar where Dwight has to go meet somebody. It was really, 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 really good.
Yeah.
I was very, very impressed with this one. I thought it was probably my favorite episode so far. Also, there's a guy in it who plays like the neighborhood stooge, which is just a
great, the HOA guy.
Yeah, the HOA guy, exactly.
Yes,
the homeowners association guy. Yeah. And he was good. So this one, you're in for a real treat, people, if you've not seen it. I enjoyed it.
It's funny. Yeah. It's funny and tense at the same time. It's like really.
I know.
Yeah. It's the whole emotional roller coaster for sure. But anyhow.
Dwight Manfredi is really a good guy. He really is until it's time to not be a good guy. It's good.
Dueling forces there. Yeah.
I think we hit everything, right? Before we get there it is. We do have hey, could you send Barbara down to the green room to bring our guest who's been so supportive of us? I know I've had a lot of conversations with our next guest, Brad, on social media. I mean, he is a true Rocky connoisseur, and I love sharing tidbits of information with him. So does Barbara have him? She walk him down the hall?
She's got him. Here he is.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Hey, Brad, how you doing?
I'm good. How are y'all?
Very good. Thank you. I have been, just so you know, I've been after Brad for a year now.
Yeah. Well, Brad's in demand. Brad does a lot of podcasts out there. He was just on the Jennifer Aniston podcast. He was just on Ben Stiller's podcast. And correct me if I'm wrong, but you were on Bill Maher's podcast, which is close to your. How do you say your last name?
Mayhar.
Okay. I love that. I love that. No, thank you for being here. And I know you are a busy guy. I got to start this off immediately. The picture that is in the center of the wall. Did you get that from Sly's art site? Okay. Yes. Just tell me a little bit about that. When you got it, why did you choose that one? Because that happens to be one of my favorite ones too.
Yeah, I like the picture in general, but that back part, if you remember, I think it was 96. My wife and I just started dating, and we took a trip to San Antonio years before we moved here, and we went to the Planet Hollywood. And on the back of at the time, it was like the Rocky, it's hard to believe we're here now, 20th anniversary. Yeah. Rocky was 20 once.
Yeah.
It was 26. And the back of that shirt had the second half of see there, the Triumph of the Champion, that's called.
Yep.
And so it has a little sentimental value, but I also like the photo, and it has Sly's signature on it too. So it's like,
wow,
I had to have it. So when I do media interviews for my job, Zoom interviews, I sort of strategically put
nice
in the background if I'm doing the interview from home. So yeah.
Now you also, I have a question. So you have the title belt, and I can see it's movie accurate.
Yes.
As you know, yeah. Well, see, that's my thing. I wanted to ask you why. Like, I personally like that you went movie accurate, but this ties into something I was saying earlier in the podcast, how fans will get just any type of collector's memorabilia. And as we all know, there is a championship belt that's out there that has Drago, Apollo, Clubber Lang, and Rocky in the pictures, right? Instead of the actual ones from the movie. Why did you choose to go with the authentic one?
I mean, I think for me, I mean, we're like-minded in the sense, you know, we've had some conversations offline before, you and I, Mike, about how you're a stickler for detail.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm the same way. When the opportunity presents itself, I want as close to movie accurate as possible. That's just me. So actually, this was about 3 years ago. I think the first time I messaged you about something, and because I don't want to, who anyone knows where to get a movie accurate anything, it's Mike. So I, and you had told me about this guy. He was like in Pakistan, I think.
Yeah.
Or he gets them from Pakistan.
Yeah, yeah.
And so yeah, I got it, and it's, you know, like Mickey says, it's one of the favorite things I have on this earth.
Oh, that's right.
They're hard to come by. They were hard to come by. They're a little easier now. I know the Sly Stallone Shop. A bunch of places have them, but to find one that's very movie authentic, they're still hard to come by at times. So, anyways, I'm just glad to see that.
Yeah.
Stacy, what do you think? He's got a pretty nice collection on that back wall.
He does. I wanted to show this picture because he's got it. I went through, and I loved your Instagram page. You know, that Instagram page is years and years old, and there's just Rocky stuff all the way through.
Yeah.
And just love this fedora shot of you.
That's nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
no,
he went to the TV station last year. Our meteorologist, she's a friend. She's from Philly, so I told her, I said, "Hey, I didn't see you," you know, because she's a Rocky fan too.
Did she get it as soon as she saw you?
Yeah, she was like, "We got to take a picture." So,
oh, nice.
yeah,
nice.
Yeah, I do love, you know, checking out people's Instagram pages, and you just have, it's definitely everywhere. You wear it to work. It's just in there the whole time. So yeah, that's great. Now you took I have photos here of you at the statue. Tell us about some of your trips to Philadelphia.
Let's see. I've been, I think, a total of 3 times. I mean, number 4, I definitely have to take Mike's tour whenever that happens one day. But
glad to have you aboard.
Yeah. So the very first trip was years ago when my son was like 4 years old, and he was just a huge Rocky fan. He would put the movies in, he would run around in circles, and when the montages came on, and so we said family vacation that year, Philly's got to be our end destination on the road trip, and then we'll see things in between. So, you know, there's pictures of him running up the steps, and then there's a couple of trips from later. You see me with the statue or on the steps from when I went on work trips.
Right.
So I was in a situation many years ago where I'd been out of work for several months. It was like 8-9 months. It was a really discouraging time. It was the first time I'd experienced being out of work for that period of time and having a family and everything.
Right.
And, you know, my mentor, he was kind of like, I say he's kind of like my Apollo Creed. He helped me just redo my resume, do a different style, you know, adapt. So he coached me up and gave me some encouragement, helped me my resume. This job came up. I got the job. I mean, I was like, at the time, the job was a good job. First few months, it was great. So then when I really wanted that job really bad and I needed it, I had been out of work, like I said, for about 8 or 9 months. Bills were piling up. I had to go to lengths that I never imagined I would have to. I had to go to the local food stamp office and apply for benefits. I mean, these are things that I never imagined I would be doing. And so then that job came up. I mean, I prayed like crazy for that job. I was like wanting it. And so then when I got the job, about a week into the job, they said, "We're going to send you to Philly later this month." And I said, "Oh, wow, cool." So, you know, obviously when you think Philly, you know,
Rocky.
If you're intelligent, if you got a good brain, you think Rocky and Philly in the same sentence.
And so when I got there, I got up early one morning. My supervisor thought I was just a big dork, and I was like, well, maybe I am. But I got up early. I said, I got to jog the route, you know, and, you know, they don't show you in the movies Rocky stopping at the red lights and then Paul's Bill Conti and then
right, exactly. It's one run.
Right. So then when I finally made it to the steps early in the morning, it was just like the most surreal feeling. And I was like, and I thought, oh, God has a sense of humor. There's Jesus at the top of the Rocky steps.
Right.
They had a Rembrandt display at the time at the art museum.
Oh yeah, here it is.
And there was literally Jesus's picture. And I thought, well, that's really cool. So I said to myself, next time I come on the trip, because they were going to send me one other time, I'll make sure inside and see the exhibit. And I did. And it was really cool. So that was, but just being out there that morning, knowing that just a month before that, you had been almost at your lowest, and then to make it to the top, and, you know, like the metaphor of Rocky, you know, your 8th victory.
Totally.
Yeah.
Wow, you've a sense of accomplishment. The birds were chirping. It was peaceful. It was just a beautiful moment.
Colors were brighter than usual. The birds were in quadrasound phonics. It was unbelievable.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
So what is it about Rocky that you appreciate, that you love? Why not Indiana Jones or Luke Skywalker? Why Rocky?
Yeah, well, I do love them too. I have their memorabilia here in the room. But Rocky's favorite. If I had to pick a favorite, it's obviously Rocky.
Sure.
So Rocky, he's more relatable to the everyday man, obviously, because, you know, we can't use lightsabers and use the Force and things like that. But no, I don't know. Rocky, everyone can relate to him. He's that everyday guy. He's that underdog. He has that fighting spirit. He never gives up. So whatever you're facing in life, chances are one of the films you can relate to for that particular moment in your life. And so for me, even going back to when I was in high school, you know, my mom passed away when I was in school.
Okay.
And, you know, that's a life-changing moment, especially at such a young age. You know, how are you handle this? Well, Rocky would get up and he would keep moving forward. And so you just got to keep going. So I think, and then anytime, whether it's work or school or in life, you know, you're setting goals for yourself. You're trying to beat the odds. You be loyal to your family at home. You know, Rocky was just a decent human being. He treated
that's true
with kindness. I mean, he's just relatable that way.
Yes.
And the boxing is a metaphor for a lot of things in life, as Sly said countless times. I mean,
countless times.
Yeah.
You know, is it safe to say Rocky 2 is your favorite?
It is. I wore the shirt.
Good.
I put that on the form, but I think Rocky 2. It's like having to pick a favorite Rocky movie is tough. It's like picking a favorite child, and sometimes it does depend on the mood you're in at the moment.
Totally.
But
Totally.
Pound per pound, I really like 2 because it was. He's finally gonna, he finally wins the big one. He gets there. Just all the things you appreciate later in life when you're a kid. You know, you like 3 and 4 because, you know, he's fighting crime in the ring. He's fighting all these supernatural villains. And as you get older, like you always say, Mike, you know, you picture Rocky, he's the guy in the fedora, and you appreciate all the little dad jokes he made. I mean, Rocky did dad jokes before.
Totally.
I mean, you appreciate all those things, and all the characters were alive too. Nobody died in Rocky 2.
Right.
It was just, I don't know. It's just a sweet story and ending, and it's just a nice way to put a bow on Rocky 1 or Rocky. We don't say Rocky 1. You know,
that is one of the things. I'm so glad that you said that, because I get some crap for that on my tours.
Oh.
If there's anybody on the planet that knows it's not Rocky 1, it's me. I know it's not Rocky 1. However, I get some people that take the tour who are self-described Rocky fanatics. So I will say to them, okay, hey, just so I get an idea where they are on the Rocky spectrum, I will say, hey, what was the name of Rocky's goldfish? He didn't have a goldfish. Oh my God. What was the name of Rocky's dog? Dog? Oh, and you say you're like the biggest fan. So now I have to insert Rocky 1 so they know what Rocky I'm talking about, depending on the story I'm telling. And people are like, I get used to that because, you know, it's just a thing you get used to. And I have to remember myself, it's Rocky, not Rocky 1.
Right.
So, you nailed it though. You got that right. And I felt so proud that you did that.
You know, you were talking about your health last November. I liked everything you said about that. Why don't you share, you know, the Rocky inspiration to help improve that?
Yeah, I think that was another moment where, you you think to yourself, well, how would Rocky overcome this, or Rocky play? So for years, I'd been that guy that, didn't seldom went to the doctor. I went to the doctor about as often as elections and Olympics came around. Every few years I would go. Finally, I said, I'm going to go to the doctor. And they came back and they said, hey, you're looking at uncontrolled diabetes. And I'm like, what? Never thought that I was, going to be facing that. So it just hit me like a ton of bricks. It was like getting punched for Drago, just the way it hits you.
Sure.
It was literally like the day before Thanksgiving. I had all these plans, all this great stuff I was going to eat.
Right.
Get my results. And so I'm just, I just put a damper on Thanksgiving. I think the only thing I enjoyed was Dolly Parton,
because she's such a great singer, of course.
Right.
Of course.
Of course.
Cowboy.
I know.
Sorry, Mike.
Totally.
Yeah. But so it was just a damper. I'm trying to relax and enjoy the day off with family. And so, and then having to finally break the news to your family and seeing, family concerned, it was like, I can handle this one of two ways. I can feel defeated, or what would Rocky do? So I said to myself, you hear that voice like he heard in Balboa when he's having to get up, and it just
the best.
You get up. And so that next morning I said, I'm going to start running. I'm going to start watching what I eat. And so I made some lifestyle changes. I saw a nutritionist. I studied, eat this instead of that, all those things. So even at the end, by the end of December, I felt better. I would set goals for myself. Even if I go running every morning, and I haven't missed a morning since then, regardless of the temperature or anything that may or may not be falling from the sky, I go. I go myself do this. I mean, I'm not running like Roz is running, where she's running over the world, but I at least run in my neighborhood. I do a little run every morning just to get the heart rate going, and I feel better because of that. I've noticed changes. First time I tried running, I got to the end of the street and I was like, I thought I was going to die.
Right.
And then little by little, it's like each week, okay, I'm going to make it to this house. I'm going to make it to that house before I stop and walk. I'm going to make it to the end of this street. I'm going to make it to the end of that street. And then suddenly I'm running the whole route. And so I've lost over 20 pounds now. There were medications they were going to put me on. That was very discouraging when I got the news. They were going to put me on 6 different medications, 2 insulins. I mean, it was like hard. Or I was like, whoa, I am not going to do this. So just with diet, exercise, disciplining myself, I went back and my numbers, my A1C had gone from 11. My blood sugar had gone from 11. It's in the 11s. Gradually down to 5, according to the last checkup. So I was out of the range, and they said, "Oh, you've been taking the medications?" And I said, "No, I haven't. And I told them, things that I've been doing. And they're like, "Wow, we can't believe this," because people take medications, and it might take them a year or 2 years to even see their numbers come down. And you've already beat this thing in, a few months. So
that's great.
It's just. I mean, part of it's saying, what would Rocky do? And then the other part of it is, the doctor coming in and like, it got real. So sure, that made you adjust.
Wow. Brad, I just want to say how proud I am of you. I'm a nurse, but I'm also, I'm an advocate for natural health and lifestyle change. And we do not need to be relying on pharmaceuticals as much as we do. And you proved that with what you're eating, how you're moving, and that's impressive. With diet and exercise alone, you should be very proud of yourself. It's hard to do. So that's a lot of determination right there.
Thank you. Yeah, it's just the determination, that stubbornness of Rocky. You put that stubbornness.
Right.
That's just some of what you took. Don't you think like this character should be taught in school, like middle school? They should start teaching some of the philosophies of Rocky.
Absolutely.
I would. I mean, when my kids were born, I brought them, as soon as the first day home from the hospital, all of them, I put on Rocky 2 and started watching. It's like, hey, Rocky had a baby. I just had a baby.
Perfect.
I agree. Like, I think mothers should be holding up little earphones to like the belly when the kids are exactly playing Mickey's Vigil, Adrian's song.
Yeah.
Throw a little eye to tiger for when they're ready to shoot out. So it's, it's for me, I see great. That's right. Get him going fast. Boom. None of this 14-hour labor. What's that all about?
Oh my gosh. Hey, I want to go all the way back. If you don't mind, you send us some fabulous pictures from 85, 80.
I had a shirt like that. Oh, that's great.
And I love this. Now, you sent me a video, but I found another one on Instagram. Do you mind if I play both of these?
Yeah, I'm trying
one is you alone punching.
Oh man.
Okay, it's adorable. But if you listen real close, I'm going to play them both. They're both very quick. Hold on, let me go down to my videos. Here's the one with you alone. This is, I'm assuming, the same day or around
the same time.
Around the same time.
Oh wow. I'd forgot that I'd posted that one once. Wow.
You know what? You can't hear it. So if you were to listen to it on your Instagram, you can hear the Rocky music in the background.
Yeah, and in those days, Rocky would come on. You go to the video store, but then it was the CBS movie of the week on Saturday night, and they were playing Rocky 3. They had this nice montage before it starts, and you're like, okay. And so you gather around the TV, you get the tape recorder, and you hold the music, the mic up, and I would record Eye of the Tiger, the audio, complete with the roars and everything.
Right.
And that's how I would listen to Eye of the Tiger before I owned the cassette and later the CDs and on and on and on, as I recorded it off TV. So. Right. And the dog couldn't bark, the phone couldn't ring,
right?
Nothing could happen or to disrupt that. I mean,
I know.
I wanted it from the fireworks to the time Clubber Lang was talking crap to Mickey at the end of it. And I would ride my bike, and I would have the boombox on one arm, and I would have the handlebar, and I would ride to the top of the hill. And if there were. I think the neighbor's wife was a little older, but she was relatively young at the time. You go by on the bike and you're playing Eye of the Tiger and you're trying to look cool with my little 8-year-old self, my little afro.
Loved it.
You're so cute.
So then I play Eye of the Tiger, and then I was playing it in that video.
Yeah.
Saw there. And then there was another one around that time that I sent where my dad was playing.
Here, let's.
Oh, you have that one?
I got it. Let's see.
You ain't tough. You ain't tough, Balboa.
I love it. That is the OG footage from 85. I was like, wow.
It's about as original as it gets. That's incredible.
So it's like hopefully Sly will somehow see this. Maybe he'll watch this one. I want him to see.
You never know.
Say they've been a lifelong fan. Look, I have proof that I've been.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
That's fantastic. Honestly.
Yeah.
And seeing those shirts, back in the day, you remember those stores in the 80s, you go in and just that smell, you would iron, whether it was Rocky.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Smokey and the Bandit or whatever. Yeah. Iron it on there and just had that smell, those old, you put your name on the back. And
totally.
3rd grade, I had the dark blue one. And then 4th grade school picture day, I wore that light blue one with, the Rocky, the arm.
That's great.
And then it's funny how life hasn't changed. Here I am, I'm in my 40s. I'm still wearing Rocky shirts.
Yeah. Love it. Awesome.
Yeah. You and me both.
I'm curious. Do you have sometimes, Rocky 2 is your favorite movie, but sometimes our very favorite scene isn't from the whole series, isn't necessarily in our favorite movie. Do you have a favorite scene? Is it also in Rocky 2 or is it from a different movie?
Hey, yeah, I've always had a hard time trying to narrow it down to one scene. If there was, the montages are all of them, make you want to get off the couch. I mean, there's, but there's certain things, there's Rocky 2, a lot of the dad jokes and just Rocky, just being Rocky on screen. I mean, even the, just with Balboa, he had, at least two great speeches that are just immortalized in cinema history. I mean, two amazing speeches in that one. And it's hard. Honestly, it's hard to pick one.
Right.
There's, You know,
I get
even
it.
some of the Polly stuff is, you know, just priceless. You gotta love Polly, and even the two. I mean, Mike and I have had some discussions of our feelings about the spinoff movies, but for Sly's part of the spinoff movies, there was some great stuff because obviously those parts were written by Sly and influenced by Sly, and just the love and dedication he is that character is that we love so much. I mean, that's some of those scenes are great. Even, you know, just the graveyard scenes where he goes to see Adrian and the Bill Conti music, all those things. Just, you know, it's just such an amazing character. And each time that, whether it's a spinoff or hopefully a prequel one day or whatever, every time you see Sly on camera, let alone on camera as Rocky, it's a privilege to be able to see that as a fan.
Yeah.
You're so right. I would agree 100%. Stacy, what's the word I don't like to say?
Oh, Creed.
Yes. So I don't like to say the C word, but I will say this in defense. And Brad, you said something there that just triggered a little something here in my mind.
Yeah.
Although I give that C word a lot of not a lot of respect, I give Sly a lot of respect to be in it. It did open up a whole new generation to Rocky. And it's one of the things that I asked people on the tour, how did you come to find out about the tour or what is it about Rocky? I said, oh, well, my 9-year-old kid saw the first
Creed.
Thank you. And they loved it. And they thought Adonis was fantastic. And then they wanted to know who the old guy in the ugly hat was. And the parent inevitably says, oh, well, I have to show you this.
Right.
And then the kid falls in love. 9-year-old falls in love with all the early Rockies. And then they say, well, we have to go to Philly now. And the parents bring them. So I will say that about those movies, that they did open up the character to a new generation.
Yeah.
And I know Sly appreciates that fact too.
Yeah. And then just even the things that we have now in Sly Stallone Shop, you know, being able
I would agree.
grow into what it is today. I mean, we have you know, there are obscure things that we, you know, wherever in the world they are, but then the everyday things like the necklace or even now the fedoras you can get
fantastic. You couldn't find those fedoras anywhere. Yeah, you couldn't get them anywhere.
I went to Barron's. You had told me about Barron's.
Yeah.
And we were
the
fedora with the Stallone Shop was in the works, and we thought, well, we were pessimistic at first. We're like, probably not going to be the same. Go ahead and get the Barron's hat. So I got the Barron's hat, and it's good. It's great.
Yeah, of course.
When the Sly Stallone Shop version came out, it's like, wow.
Yeah.
They knocked it out of the park. I mean,
they did.
I was checking every stitch to make sure that they got it right.
Right.
The original hat's very hard. The hat maker, Kevin McAndrew, who was that's the brand of the hat that it was.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's very difficult to come by. I've only seen one or two other, like if, you know, Rocky, we know how Stallone got the hat. Rocky probably got the fedora the same way as Stallone got the fedora.
Right.
If you follow. But like if you were to buy that fedora back in the 40s or 50s when it was originally made, there would be like 3 of them on a shelf. And there's only like 2 other ones that I have come across in all my travels in 40 some years to find these hats. It's the only other hat I would buy because I have probably about 12 different versions of the fedora, 3 of which I bought from the Stallone Shop. So it's tough to come by.
Yeah, and I think one of my only complaints about Balboa would be, I wish he had like the fedora in Balboa. You know, he had and I understand what he was doing with the character at the time. You know, he was thinking Rocky's older, he's moved on. He just naturally got this new version of the hat.
Right.
When the spinoff movies come along and you see the fedora resurrected on screen, other than that, it's an amazing movie, and the story Sly went
my God,
it's phenomenal.
Here's some great pictures I captured of you from your Instagram page.
Nice Rambo display.
Oh yeah, they're in front of me. I've got all the
Rambo. Yeah,
nice.
Sly Stallone Shop here.
Yeah,
sweet.
And some tell us about this moment. This is cool.
Hey,
where's the Flatbush? Yeah,
there he is.
So and it was really cool. So that night, So long story short, Henry Winkler was our guest speaker for the Salvation Army here in San Antonio that year where I work. I'm in charge of recommending the speakers, and then a lot of times I have to twist arms to get them to approve, but you know, they approve. And so Henry Winkler was our speaker. I met him at the hotel when he got there, and I gave him my card, and I said, okay, hey, thanks for doing this. I'll be your point of contact here. If you, anything you need while you're in town, give me a call. Let me know if you want to go see anything. So he said, okay. So a couple of hours later, maybe an hour later, I get this call on my phone. Brad, this is Henry. And, you know, and from my coworkers, and I'm like, it's Fonzie.
I love it.
So
Great.
he's like, this is Henry. He goes, my wife and I are going to go to dinner tonight, and we would love for you and your wife to join us as our guests. Would you be, is it too much trouble for you to drive us there and join us and be our guest? And I was like,
what?
absolutely. Yeah. So we, you know,
That's amazing.
You know, and it's like, you don't want to break the speed limit. You're driving precious cargo.
Yeah.
Like, God forbid something happened on the road, and I don't want to be immortalized as the guy that took out Fonzie, you know. So
Right.
You don't want to show up with like a flask of Jack. Where to, Fonz?
Yeah. So I take care of, you know, Henry Winkler. And it's so cool. We, on the way there to the restaurant, he had reservations. He's a big foodie. So if you ever get a chance to meet Henry, he can tell you where the best food is in every town that he's traveled through the year. So he had this place picked out he wanted to try. And he says, hey, I've never been to the Alamo before. Do we have time to go to the Alamo? And I was like, we'll make time. I don't think the restaurant is going to deny us. So we go to the Alamo. It's like 5 minutes off course, not bad. So we stop at the Alamo. We're going to parking around the Alamo is tricky because there's a lot of construction right now. And we park. Henry's like, just pull into that valet right there. I'll take care of it. Okay. So he gets out of the car. He tells his wife is like going to wait in the back seat. My wife is going to meet us there. So she goes, you know, Stacy, his wife's name's Stacy too. So Stacy's in the back seat, and she goes, I'll wait here. We're going to park under the garage, so it'll be fine. Crack the window. So he goes, wait here in the car. He gets up, he goes to the valet. Me, I seldom use valet. So if I got up there, I would be like, how much? And if you say it's free, do I still feel obligated to tip? You know, I don't know any of that.
Yeah.
Right. But he's a pro at this. So he goes, wait right here. Up there. He pulls out an undisclosed sum of cash.
Sure.
He tucks it in the guy's pocket. He goes, see that Nissan right there? Could you take care of that? So the guy was like, yeah. So they said, you can park right here. So they said, you can park the car right here. So we're walking up to the Alamo, and you hear whispers, hey, it's Fonzie. Hey, is that all the comments that you would imagine?
Right.
So he goes up to the door, and all he really wanted to do was go to the gift shop. It was just after 5 o'clock. So the gift shop had closed, but the Alamo itself, they said you can still go in because the guard, they have a Texas, they have police there that are guarding it, or Texas DPS,
like Rangers or something.
State trooper, yeah. So they said, well, you can go inside. He goes, oh, I just want some gifts. And that guy's like, wait a minute, aren't you're the guy from Barry? And he, you know, the HBO show.
Great show.
Yeah. And he goes, yes. And a new episode is this Sunday, and be sure to tune in at 8 o'clock. Yeah, he starts plugging the show like he's on TV. You know, some celebrities are like, yeah, that's me, but don't make a scene.
Yeah.
He would plug the show anytime people would ask about it. So I said, Henry, I know where the gift shop is. Let's just walk around the corner. We didn't know it was closed at the time. But then we get to the door, and it has a sign that says closed. They wrote Sharpie closed and taped it to the door. So he pulls on the door opens anyway. I'm like, oh, okay. So then there's another set of double doors, and I said, oh, that one's got to be locked. He opens the door. So there's like 6 employees that are in there just closing the register, you know, doing things that you would do after a store closes. All the customers are gone. They all in unison see him there. Oh my God. and Henry, you know, he's very expressive with his hands. Yeah. He's like, yes, I know. Yes, I know. listen, I'm so sorry to bother you. I've come a long way, and I just would like to buy some T-shirts for my grandkids. Could someone please help me? And the girl looks over at the manager, and the manager's like,
Yeah.
Will that be cash or card? And he goes, cash. And then the lady's like, well, sir, would it be possible for you to use a card because I already closed the register down? Card!
Cute.
Yeah, and then so they're like, sir, we got some shirts on special here. We got this. And he's like, yeah, that's good. That's good. And he's just grabbing stuff. He loads his, and where's some shot glasses? He gets some shot glasses, has all this merch from the Alamo store. He goes to the cash register. He puts everything down. He pays, and he goes, all right, who would like to take a picture? And everybody's like, me.
Aww.
Took a picture with every person there. And then coming out, we took the quick selfie. So that was the first time he'd been to the Alamo, and I was the only person to get a photo of him in front of the Alamo because I said, "You want me to take your picture in front of it?" Because he was just taking a picture of it for his family.
Yeah.
He goes, "Oh no, I'm good." But we took that picture of the two of us. So I have the only picture of the Fonz in front of the Alamo, and
that's cool. I love it.
Cool. Like there's proof we were there. And then the restaurant, we were good until it got crowded. And then when we got up to leave, we got out of the booth and people saw that he was there, and people were phones and paparazzi. They followed his people were coming up offering to buy him a drink and stuff.
Of course.
I mean, it's cool. Like, we had a couple of hours with them, like not 2 or 3 hours. I mean, it was like a nice long dinner. Just amazing. This phenomenal. How often does a guy of that caliber have time when he's not got his schedule, where he can just relax? And I had that privilege getting to just spend downtime with Henry Winkler. I mean, and then on that phone on the way over there, he got a phone call from someone or way back. And he's like, yeah, I was talking to a friend. And when he hung up, he just real casually, that was David Hyde Pierce, from Freddy.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Nice.
But
was there any lull in the conversation when you're at the table? You got to keep that talk going.
Oh yeah, but he's so easy to talk to. You felt at ease with him. He was just such an easy. Sure. He's everything that you expect him to be. And my wife, of course, when she got there, and she was like, well, thanks. I think she had heard something about the Rocky connection, with the script and the story and everything.
Right.
And said, oh, I need to thank you because, Brad, he loves Rocky and blah, 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 blah. And then, of course, that's when he told the story of, that was the first time I'd actually heard that version, the version of the story told the last couple of years of how they sold the script, and then, he had to get it back and all that stuff. But he told that story. That was the first time I heard that version. So it's really cool to hear, wow.
Yeah.
Intel. It's kind of like you, when you have your conversations with Sly, you get conversations that
agreed
we don't always get to hear. It was incredible. So, and then the next day we went to get barbecue, and he wanted to go into a CVS store to buy shoestrings. His shoelaces had broken. So he said, let me, is there a CVS nearby? I said, yeah, we went to one down the street. And he goes, oh, just wait here in the car. I'll be right back. I'm thinking, well, unless someone in the store got a picture, I'm sure they're probably like going home telling their friends that night. You won't believe that Henry Winkler came into our store today, and they're probably like, no way, but just so random. He goes into this CVS store and he comes out. I guess he got the shoelaces he needed, and he had 2 bags, one for my wife and one for me. He goes, sometimes when you go in a store and you're not planning on getting something, but when you see it, you just have to have it. So I got a pair of memory foam slippers for you and a pair for you too. So I have these memory foam slippers given to me by Henry Winkler. I mean, pinch me.
That's so cool.
So,
that's incredible.
That's fun.
One day I'll get to take Sly to CVS or Walmart.
You never know. And this is like a story that's great for every backyard barbecue, Christmas, Thanksgiving dinner. I mean, it's just a memory that'll never be taken from you. And it's such a brilliant story and well told, by the way.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Last 2 pictures I just wanted to show here. This was a very cool day for you.
Yeah. I mean, That was at a Comic Con a few years back, and that's my son on the end, and it was getting to see Apollo and Drago in person together at a Comic Con was a real treat. And it's funny. There was a guy who, this was before the second spinoff, so there was rumors and speculation who's going to be, Victor Drago and all that stuff. But there was a kid there. He looked, he was skinny though. He wouldn't have fit the bill, but he had the flat top. He looked a lot like young Drago, and he was dressed like Drago.
Right.
Soviet, get up.
Nice.
He goes by and he's playing. Even Dolph got up and said, "I want a selfie with this guy."
Oh, nice.
And then I think that same guy, he went by and he was playing "Living" before he got there. Before he got Dolph's attention, he was playing "Living in America," and Dolph looked up and he was like, but Carl, he was just, well, that's a sore subject for Carl. But when I got up there to meet, I was excited to meet Dolph Lundgren. I got to ask him about, he was getting ready to play in the Aquaman movie at the time. He talked about, both were really nice to fans. And but when I got up there to meet Carl Weathers, it was just like, whoa, that's Apollo Creed. And I got, it's like when you meet these guys, especially in that setting, I'm not taking him to the Alamo. I'm just one of 1,000 fans that day.
Yeah.
So get up there, it's like, I told him, I said, Mr. Weathers, there's nothing I can tell you that you haven't already heard a million times, but I just want you to know that meeting you was on my bucket list. And he laughed. He goes, "Oh, thank you. I appreciate that." And I stopped and I paused. I took a deep breath, like, wow. And then I told him that, and he's like, "Well, thank you." He goes, "Hey, well, here we are. And, would you like for me to make out the picture?" And, I have it back there. And he did all that. So
Isn't that nice?
I'm glad I got to meet him while he was still with us.
Oh,
yeah.
Right. Bit of a shocker when he left us.
Yeah.
Yeah. We just didn't see that one coming.
Yeah.
No, not at all. That's for sure. This Talia Shire picture, you don't see a lot with her signature. That was great. How'd you find this?
She did a private signing. She didn't do a Comic Con, but sometimes these people that maybe they don't do a Comic Con where they're in public signing. She did a private signing. I thought, well, how rare is that? And I had my collection back there. I said, I got to get, you got to have Adrian in the collection. So
right.
I had to get that one. I think unfortunately, I won't get Burgess Meredith, but hopefully I'll get Mr. T one day.
Let's take a pause here for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
You went from collecting food stamps to collecting autographs. Like, this is a huge swing in your life, pal.
Yeah. Well, I've been collecting autographs since I was a kid, so it's just.
This is, to me, amazing. Go with the romantic story here, okay, Brad? I'm trying to set us up. I'm trying to set us up for views, pal.
Okay. Yeah.
Go with the story.
Another script that we can sell.
There you go. So, Brad, you go from collecting food stamps to collecting autographs. This is incredible, right? Yes.
Yes.
I enjoy it. It's a
nice
fun hobby, because a lot of times they come with a story too. It's not just the signature.
Those are the best ones with a story.
Yeah. So, just having that picture to go with the story. I've got Bill Conti back there. That was one.
Wow, that's great.
I've got on the back there in the corner where my hand is there. Well, Winkler, of course, is Fonzie.
Right.
But there's Milo. So
is that Milo?
Oh, nice.
We know him as Jack Pearson, but we also know him as Rocky Jr.
Robert.
Exactly. I see you got Daniel LaRusso there.
Yeah, him. I've got a few Cobra Kai people. With our celebrity bowling event at work too, I've had a chance to get some of the Cobra Kai people to come.
Oh, that's nice.
Last few years, but yeah, Daniel Ralph Macchio got him at a Comic Con.
How'd you get David Prowse?
Let's see. Oh yeah, got him. He was doing a signing through his website, doing a signing overseas. But I've met him in the past at Comic Cons. I actually got that one. I got that one for my youngest daughter. She went through a phase where she liked Darth Vader. So yeah, nice. I got that one for her. And luckily I got it when I did. So I think he passed about a year later. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Stace, before we wrap up and I ask him my last two questions, anything you missed or you want to ask him?
No, thank you. I love everything. I love all your pictures. I love the history all the way back to your childhood. And, Rocky has given us a tool bag full of ways to face various moments in our life, various events or adversity, whatever it is, health. You've applied them like a Rocky masterclass, truly, but from your health and your work and just everything about you is so very Rocky, and you've applied those things beautifully. So you're just a perfect addition to our growing Rocky bubble here. So thank you so much for your time.
Glad to be here. I think I told you one time, I said, I'm going to wait until year 6 to come on the show just so I can say, I've been listening to your podcast for 6 years. And for 6 sticking it to me.
Oh, you know what? And thank you. You were the one who made that connection for us for Sonny Melendrez. That was a very special episode, and that was because of you. So thank you for doing that for us.
What a neat guy he is.
Great guy.
Oh, yeah.
You learn so many things that you had no idea about. He's just a neat guy.
Oh, that's for sure. Brad, 2 quick questions. I'll let you get out of here. If you were to go back in time and tell your 10 or 11-year-old self some advice, would you? And if you would, what would you tell him?
Well, that's a great question. I think I would. Well, now I wish I would have given that one some thought. That's a really good question. I mean, some advice at that age would be just maybe appreciate the small things more in life. Things like that. I mean, as far as I was trying to think if there a way to relate it to Rocky, but just in general, I would just say enjoy the small things in life, and
I love that.
Time with family's most important thing. I mean, I say this. Obviously your family is your most important thing, and then after that, when you start getting into material things, you have things that you like to collect, but just think number one is your family and your health.
Yeah.
Love it. You're in an elevator with Sylvester Stallone. You've got 30 seconds between floors. What do you say to him?
Wow, I don't know. I would barricade and say, hold on, I'm going to need 30 seconds. I'm going to need 30 seconds just to pick my mouth up off the floor. But,
I know.
Yeah, that's such a tough question. I have thought about that one, and I don't know if there's a correct answer because, I've been privileged to be around a lot of celebrities, and I think that's one that would still just stop you in your tracks. If you had a chance to meet him, I think I would just simply keep it simple, like so many people. You just say, thank you for just being, an inspiration with your characters that you brought to life, and your work ethic too, and real life that applies to creating those characters, being that example. So I would just tell him thanks for being a good example, and then maybe I would beg him for longer than 30 seconds.
Hit all the buttons.
Yeah, can I take you? Yeah, hit all the buttons. Like, oh man, I keep stopping at every floor.
Just imagine if you're in the Empire State Building and that happens. You've got like an hour.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Brad, listen, I really want to thank you so much. I'm so glad to get you on here, and your stories, your answers have been absolutely pristine and beautiful. I'm so glad we got to connect. I can't wait to see you in Philly, my friend.
Yeah. One day I'll definitely let you know. I mean, there's a couple more things. The Carl Weathers was on the bucket list. Now I've got to take your tour.
Absolutely.
I've got to meet Sly one day somehow. I mean,
you never know. Never say never. You just never know. Brad, until we see you again, my friend, keep punching.
Keep punching.
Take care, my friend.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And another one understands Rocky. Another guy gets the basics. He gets the overall grasp. He gets the intensity of the character of Rocky and what it stands for. And I love that.
I love it. And, and to lose his mom so young, we've watched Rocky grieve over many people in his life, and so he had that example when he needed it at only 16. I think he said his mom passed away. So there's no words for that. And I just love that Rocky was there to help him through that really dark time too. So, but Brad, you were just lovely, a sweetheart, just his spirit. There's just I know I say it a lot, but people in this bubble have a very pure goodness, and
I would agree.
He exudes that. Like you could see
I would agree.
right away. So thank you. So 118.
118 in the bag. Do we have a
Mhm.
bag? We have a bag of episodes, right?
We do. It's
A
getting
bag.
heavy.
Yes.
We're doing
Like
good.
Santa's. I know.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah.
Hey, Stace, if somebody's looking for you, they want to collect the $50 you owe them, where can they find you?
I'm at Had Me at Yo on Instagram, as well as at the Rocky Files on Instagram. And Michael, what about you?
Well, right behind you there, you'll see the poster, The Pretender. There's a guy named Jimmy Toscano. The Dream is Real. Documentary about my life. Sly is in it. Check it out. It's everywhere documentaries are. Check it out.
Mhm.
And on Instagram, the Yo Philly Film Tour. You can find me there on TikTok and Facebook. And there's a little book I wrote called Cue the Rocky Music. There you go. It's everywhere books are sold.
Awesome. Well, until next week, my dear.
Keep punching.
Punch it.
Bye, Stacy.